Hey people, I found some meanings to the ancient symbols and words. In the Coptic, it's what we call Egypt. It's actually the Copt. We find most of the statues, they stepping off with the left foot. And I think this was worldwide. We find more statues in Egypt than anywhere else. But you often see them stepping off with the left foot, the man. And sometimes the woman has the left foot forward. And some people say it means to begin with the heart. The heart is on the left side. And they say you begin with your heart, to step off with your heart. Go where your heart tells you. In the ancient Egyptian stories, they say that the gods were here on earth. And when they left, they left the bull, and his name was appease. And our job was to make the bull happy. That's where we get our word appease, to make them happy. Then the story goes, when the Romans took over Egypt, they didn't like nobody worshiping a bull god. They wanted a man god. And so they switched places and they put Serapis in there. And he was the pot head. And he's got a whole bunch of symbolism. And here's a little bit of explanation here in Latin. But here at this left foot, he's standing on the reptile in the water. And this is the letter M down here. And so this is the representation. It says the solus modus per humidum. And they'll interpret this as the sun's motion through the waters. The sole is the bottom of the foot. And so this, the sole is the fish, the feet, the fish, the sun. Jesus is the fish. The fish moves through the waters. But it looks like they're letting us know that back in the beginning, the left foot, the beginning, was reptiles. The whole earth was covered with dinosaurs. And it seems like we temporum successio, in time of succession, we moved through, became men. And so, when you're in boot camp, they teach you to step off with your left foot. Forward. Harch. And a lot of people think they say march. And actually it's not. The word is actually harch. It's the command used by the marching band to signal the group to move forward starting on their left foot. The left foot is the harch. And you'll see this word in the first line of the Hebrew Bible and the Greek Bible. It's the first word of the Greek Bible on the first line. It's the last word of the Hebrew Bible in the first line. Or are we reading it backwards? Is this the first word again? In the beginning. In the Greek here. In arch. In the beginning. So it seems like these ancient Egyptians thought that in the beginning was reptiles, and we crawled out of the oceans in temporum succession, and in the times to follow in succession, and we became men. And I ran into that in Matthew 19. I was read on that a little bit yesterday in that movie. In the beginnings, in the arches. And so, there's nowhere to learn this. I just study hard. And I've learned throughout the time of studying that this N before the E reads as a V or a Hebrew bet. A B or a V means in. And I'm always open. I'm always looking for other things when words just don't sound right. And I've lately been looking at the P. And it's something, you look at the letter P, it doesn't look like a letter P, and our letter P looks more like their letter R, and it seems like there's something's up with that P. And there's two different O's and an A that could follow a P that could be pronounced all the same way. And so I believe that when the A follows a P, I believe this means that this is read as a H. And in harch, in the harches, which would mean the beginning. And I'll show more on why I believe that when I get to it. But I want to show you a bunch of words. I was reading on this yesterday. I just read a little bit. I told you the top was difficult. It's about times, usually when it's talking about where he goes, where he left from, and when he got there. And it more has to do with the places of the stars and times. But I read on into this, and I caught a bunch of these words. I got some better meanings for pretty much every word in here. I've got some better meanings of the word Judah and Jordan, and an opposite meaning for this, which is totally wrong, and in all these words. And so, it's talking about Jesus here, and the ones that's followed him is what it's talking about. The ones that followed him, they're the Ocal Poly, the Poly, P-O-L-L, Poly, many, the. And Ocal means uneducated. All these that were followed him were all the Ocals, the uneducated many's. And I got a much better definition for the Pharisees and pretty much all these words. It was pretty easy. It was a lot easier than what I thought. So let me start beginning here. And so this word Jesus here, this is me. This means yes, love. And loves of to us the word of, the log of, taught us. Loves to teach us about the words. Jesus, the words these. And yes, the Hebrew and Greek word for love. Oh, yes, oh. And loves of to us the logs of taught us, to teach us the writings. And so it starts with the when. I say the G following the E and the N followed by a E. The G is the N and the N becomes the bet, the V. And so this is W-E-N. When, E-V-E. When of toot, a T-O-T-E, a toot to tell us in. And when of a toot to tell us in, and the whistle blowed, and time to quit, and it's time to finish. Of yes, of loves of to us the log, the writings of taught ofs. A meter, the meter in, meter is timing, meter is a measurement of length or time, the meter in apodes, A-P-O-D-E-S, apodes. And this is one of the best books to read, the Odes and Apodes of Horace. And it's 400, 500, 600-year-old book. And he wasn't going along with what the church was saying about the interpretations of the Bible. It's a free book on Google Books, and if I don't leave the link, remind me to leave the link down below here. But an ode is a type of a lyrical poem that usually expresses praise. And the apode is the third part of it, after the strophe, after the turn. After the turn to finish it all up, the final part. And often serving as a concluding or a summarizing section with a distinct meter or tone, and literally meaning after song. And so when of a toot to tell us in, and the bell rang, class is finished, and when of the toot to tell us in, of loves of yes ofs to us, the log, the words of taught us, the time, the meter, the meter in apodes, and you can tell that it's the end, it's finishing up the time by the meter in the apodes. The galley and laws. The L-A and the I-A is a vav, a W. And the galley laws means your table manners, what thou shalt not eat, the rules of the galley laws. And wheel, W-E-L, wheel, devise, the V before the E, devise to. And we'll devise to, you see that this is where your word area come from, A-R-I-A. But this is actually reading as a vav, a W, of what is. And the R, what is. And we'll devise to our what is. And Yuda is hillbilly. It's Boone language for you would have, Yuda. And then the I-A, is a vav, a you, us. And you would have us a fear on to the W-Y, Y orden of. And you would have had us fear on to what is ordinary. And the which call of this on. And so followed is the wrong word. when you're playing, music, or you see in the church a lot of the prayers that the priests and many other religions that use the call and response. And so the response is what followed, not the call. And so what it is, it shows again down here, they're trying to change who's speaking, who's actually talking here. They're trying to change the places, and that's why they changed this word, which does not mean followed. It means which the call of this on, of to the uneducated masses, the ocal, you yokels, and your ocal poly, and just read this as the, your ocal poly the, which means the and many uneducated. And WETH with a rap who's in, and the uneducated, they follow the call with the response, which the call of this on of to the ocal poly the with a rap who's in of to us the lay. The K followed by the E reads as L, the lay, and it means, and if you're Spanish, you pronounce this as aquí, and it means here. It means the X, dos aquí. Aquí is the X, and the X marks the spot. And 2 X's, dos aquis. That's one of my favorite beers there. But that's where X comes from. You are here. And the lay, where you lay the aquí, is the spot where you are there. And proselton. And see, this is another one in words they got totally flipped around because they're trying to change who's doing the talking here. Proselt is to go on ahead. When this is, and proselt means you're behind. They went on ahead. So when you change proselt to came, that puts you out in front. And so when they proselt, they came to you, which is just wrong. Does not mean came. It means went ahead. And proselt of to the Pharisee is what they'll call this. And what this means is I am a Pharisee. And so Monday, I'm a little bit sore today. I went to see the dentist, and then I went to see my favorite girl, and we climbed trees and did some fun things. And I'm probably too old. I probably shouldn't be climbing trees. And this is, for his, and the AJ, and the OI reads as a E. And so this is a age, an AJE. And for his age, yeah, he's getting around pretty good for his age. He's still climbing trees. The Pharisees was the old law. It worked back then, but this is new times, and that's what this is all talking about. The followers of Jesus, the new times, and all the ocal and the uneducated crowds, they just repeating. And that's a good way to wake up your congregation and to get mindless masses to follow you. Go with a call and response, and you call out, and you get just a couple of people responding at first, and then more and more people start responding, and they don't know why they're responding. They're just doing it because everybody else does. And when the more people do it, the more people believe that, hey, everybody else thinks this way, which the call of this on of to the uneducated many's with a rap who's in of to us here. And proselt, and went ahead on, and proselt on of to for his age, getting old. He's still doing all right, but he's getting old there. Fear as on this oughtn't. You should not fear this. And proselt on of to for his age, the fear is on this shouldn't. You shouldn't fear, that you're getting old. And the key, it's a vav. Just read it as a U. And allegiance, and who are you with? Your allegiance, and when testing him, and proselt, and went on ahead of to, for his age, the fear is on this oughtn't. You shouldn't. Allegiant is. You shouldn't have allegiance. And so this is E-Y, ancient word. You see it all through the Hebrew, E-V-T-H-E, and Y, they. And they exist. They exist in. And so my brother-in-law asked me, tell me, hey, what do you mean when you say they? They. I mean those son of bitches that they exist in. You don't know where the hell they are, but they damn sure running things. They exist in. And then this word, it wasn't in here, it was added later. You can see by these little marks in here. And they exist in a policy. A policy. And a policy is a play on words, meaning a poly, the many wives that you have. And it's in the policy. It's in the contract. 1 per day, 28 wives. And the policy it in a gynacy. And so this A here, followed by the A, that reads as an I. And the gynacy, you know, that's who controls all the pussy. And they exist in a policy, it in a gynacy of to us attaches on 8 when. The A following the P causes the P to read as an H, I believe. It's something I'm just looking at the past 5 days. But of to, and the use K here is us, but not just us. It's us that sneak around at night. You see it in the word for night, and the snuck twos, and it's in all the words for night. And it's in the words, you know, nocturnal, the things that happen at night. And of to us, you know, us being the ones at night, attaches on the 8 when. And when the ode of criticizing, you know, the poem, when the poem of a this I pronounce as Eisen, E-I-S-E-N, I found in the German dictionary. It's where the word wise and philosopher wise comes from. And of criticizing, ouch, you know, O-U-C. And this is often pronounced in the Greek and the Hebrew. The K is the CH, the ouch, that hurts. And ouch of a note, you know, the N reading as a B, a V, and the G reading as an N following this E here, I believe. And that's why the G is silent always in gnosis, knowing, and of in note. Octi. And so a note octi means, you know, to raise up an octave. You know, an octi is not 1 unless it's 1 octave. An octi is 8. That's where the 1 and the 8 are the same. And the octis as. And ouch, a note. Octis as. Of arches, R's in. Of arches, R's in. You know, R's, that's Hebrew, and that's pirate for fear, you know, R's. And of arches, R's in. And the loo, the feason of to us. And so that's the easy one. You know, the loo is the toilet, and the feason of to us, I mean, we have to carry the shit out, you know, and carry the shit out. You make up these laws, and it's our job to carry it out. Ode of a criticizing, ouch, of a note, addy, octies as. It hurts to raise up a whole octave. And of arches, of fears in, and the loo, the feason of to us. And wise of evict out of, you know, and said, on account of this will leave a man the father. And so this is wise, and pronounce this as a V before this E. And wise of Vic. Vic is pointing toward the door. Vic is your dad standing pointing toward the door, giving you a dirty face. And evict it out of is get the hell out of my house. and evict it out of. On account, they always say that's kata, according to, and on account of this. But why is of evict it out of a cattle leafs they? That's where they're getting this leaf from, the Leifs, a leafs they. And according to leafs they, under a post on. Under a post on is where you leave your mail. You post a post note, a post on. They used to hang your notices on the post, a post on. Now, under a post on, and the P before the A is the hater, AV, the hater of. And according to leafs they, under a post on, hater of, then a meter, the time of, and hater of, then a time of, a call, and the second L reading is a Y, Y-E-T, and the call yet is the day. I haven't yet seen my day. The call yet is the day. I haven't been kicked out yet. The day, the Gynus, and the I before the A now is reading, this reading is a U. And so it's not the Gynus anymore, but it's the Gynus what of. And call yet is the day, the Gynus what of. Yet meaning I have not. I have not yet, but I will. And the vest, to fill on. The vestin day of the, just the OI as a E means the, of the two, his, and the double S reading is a Y-A-R-K, York, to keep New York, to keep the vault, to keep the secrets. And his Yorkum win, A-M-I-A reading is a W-N, Yorkum, to keep 'em win, of his keep 'em win. So this one that they volunteered up there, it means 8, actually, and the one having created from the beginning. Well, in the beginning, in Egypt, there was 8 creating. There was a whole octave. And the poem of a criticizing, ouch, of a note, audi, octes, as, of a note, audi, raise up 8, of one full octave, of arches, ours in, of arches, ours in, and the low, the fees, and of tuus. And why is a vicket out of a cattle leafs they? And I think this is the same where you word beliefs. To beliefs is in the leaves, and the cattle leafs is under leaves. And I'm not real sure, but a lot of this comes on to me as I read on chapters. And the cattle leafs on their post on. Hater of then, metter of. And I'm not real sure about this. I just started looking at it lately, the P followed by the A. But I always keep my mind open to several letter combinations that I think possibly read in other ways. And the hater of then, metter of. The met her of. Call yet is the day, the Gynus what of. Vestin day, the fill-on day, the to his York. The to his Yarkum win, the to his keep'em win. And I was thinking about a different book, not the O's and the Po's, but the Hore Lyrica. And I'll leave the link down there and read the prefaces, the most important part of this book. And it explains, this guy understood how to read the Hebrew and the Greek, and he explains it a lot better. And he tells how the meanings have been twisted to rule over the yokels. And he'll say, have they forgot? Or were they just never told that many parts of the Old Testament are Hebrew verse? So not all of the Old Testament is Hebrew verse. And the figures are stronger and the metaphors are bolder. And I'm going to cut this off here. And good day.